It's fair to say in recent years, the FIA have dropped some absolute clangers. From the man at the top being hailed to be the savior of motorsport one moment, just to be shunned into hiding due to past comments the next, to leaking its own reports surrounding the Red Bull cost cap saga, it's easy to fall down a Grand Canyon-sized rabbit hole of controversy, collusion and corruption, dating all the way back to the origins of the sport being formally recognized in 1950. So to no one's surprise, the FIA are once again in hot water, but this time they may have gone too far and could be at the precipice of plunging out of Formula One for good. Want to know just how bad this could get for the FIA? They've been warned before, and it seems like they've really outdone themselves this time. And stick around to the end, because the murmurings have begun to resurface that this could be the end of the FIA and F1. And what's more, the real perpetrator who started all of this may have just been revealed. So just how did we get here? Well, rather than going all the way back to the first FIA calamity, let's cut to the chase. The FIA recently started an inquiry into the Wolffs, more notably Susie Wolff, about a potential conflict of interest arising from the couple's relationship and her position within the sport. As we're all aware, Toto is the team principal of Mercedes and Susie is heading the F1 Academy program, aiming to usher in a generation of female racing drivers to the top level of motorsport. And in doing so, she reports directly to the F1 president Stefano Domenicali. So what was the big bombshell that caused this investigation to take place? Leaked emails, inside information discovered, or confirmed suspicions by the team principals? Well, actually none of the above. It's all originated from Business F1 magazine, well known for being oh so shocking, to the extent that they have to put a phony warning before some of the articles, claiming that the editors don't agree with what's being said because it's just oh so shocking, despite them printing it anyway. They've made a reputation for themselves as being garishly repugnant and coming across as impotent enough to warrant an advert for erectile dysfunction pills on every other page, printing such gems as their Females in Motorsport section a few years back that did nothing more than talk about who the drivers were dating, paired with intrusive details on them printed with revealing images. On top of that, they also said that Mazepin's conduct was just boys will be boys, while insinuating that some drivers on the paddock are homosexuals due to them not fitting in with their masculinity quota, and speculating on the cause of drivers' divorces being alcoholism. So yeah, not exactly the paragons of nuanced journalism in the F1 world, and definitely not the right place for the FIA to be drawing inspiration from. The magazine claimed that the married couple had been sharing pillow talk, which just feels gross and intrusive to say, claiming that multiple team principals had come forward to share their concerns with President Ben Sulayem and the FIA that Toto now had access to confidential information that gave the Mercedes team an advantage both on and off track. This report proved to be yet another waste of ink, as all 9 teams outside of Mercedes came out with a collective statement standing resolutely against what appears to be yet another example of attention seeking from the magazine that I only know because my weird uncle insists on telling me all about the shocking revelations within the pages of the billionaire fanzine, with the statement saying, "We can confirm that we have not made any complaint to the FIA regarding the allegation of information of a confidential nature being passed between an F1 team principal and a member of the FOM staff. We are pleased and proud to support the F1 Academy and its managing director through our commitment to sponsor an entrant in our liveries from next season." It's not often that 2 teams, never mind the whole paddock, can come together with such a collective stance so quickly, so we can only conclude that the announcement by the FIA was met with confusion by all the teams, with them checking in on each other to say, "Hey, are you seeing this? Was it you?" The final team to speak out was Mercedes, with them later putting out this statement. The team has received no communication from the FIA compliance department on this topic, and it was highly surprising to learn of the investigation through a media statement. We wholly reject the allegation in the statement and associated media coverage, which wrongly impinges on the integrity and compliance of our team principal. As a matter of course, we invite full, prompt and transparent correspondence from the FIA compliance department regarding this investigation and its contents. What makes this so damning for the FIA is Formula One putting out a statement saying they've received no advance warning of the FIA's statement, offering a robust denial of involvement and thoroughly distancing themselves from the FIA. They even sent out a warning to the FIA saying, We are confident that no member of our team has made any unauthorized disclosure to a team principal and would caution against anyone making any imprudent and serious allegations without substance. In all of this, we must not forget who the attempted scapegoat in all of this was: Susie Wolff, an ex-driver in her own right and a prominent member of Formula 1, as well as having a history in other motorsports such as Formula E. At the end of the day, the magazine that started the malicious rumors has a history of misogyny and targeting women, as well as not giving them any focus outside of their physical attributes. So let's hear what Susie Wolff had to say about their allegations of pillow talk. I am deeply insulted but sadly unsurprised by the public allegations that have been made this evening. It's disheartening that my integrity has been called into question in such a manner, especially when it seems to be rooted in intimidatory and misogynistic behavior, and focused on my marital status rather than my abilities. As a woman in the sport, I have faced my fair share of challenges, but my commitment to breaking down barriers and paving the way for the future generations to succeed remains unwavering. In the strongest possible terms, I reject these allegations. So it wasn't the teams. Susie hasn't stepped a foot wrong in her role according to both her and Formula 1, who would have run their statement past Domenicali unlike the FIA, and everyone is perplexed at what just could have led to all of this happening. Well, ex-Williams team manager Peter Windsor has a pretty firm opinion on who it could be, as he smells a rat, or rather, a tax-avoiding morally questionable Hitler admirer, with Windsor saying, "Some people, I am not sure who, have said there isn't a conflict of interest. I smell Bernie Ecclestone behind all of this. The magazine it appeared in is a magazine he has always been friendly with and has put stories or ideas towards. I'm not saying that for sure, but it has got that feel to it. Bernie would like to do it, I think." And yeah, we can't really argue with that. There is a known relationship with the magazine, as well as Ecclestone's attitude towards women being obtuse to say the least. So what does this mean for the FIA? Have they crossed their final bridge and set it ablaze? Or are they going to find a way to be the perennial cockroach yet again, clinging on for dear life to the sport? Well, according to Andrew Benson a couple of years back, splitting from the FIA has been considered before by Formula 1 before relations were smoothed over in the wake of Ben Sulayem's continuous misconduct that was perceived as detrimental to the sport, with this being the statement at the time. A number of sources told BBC Sport at the season-ending Abu Dhabi Grand Prix last month that if Ben Sulayem continued to act in a manner senior figures considered to be detrimental to the sport, F1 owners Liberty Media would lose patience and consider breaking away from the FIA. Oh, and by the way, that statement wasn't even a few years back. We lied. That's this year. So absolutely nothing has changed, with Benson saying that Liberty Media have viewed a series of incidents in recent months as having a direct link to Ben Sulayem. With all of their past displays of ignorance, apathy and negligence, why haven't Formula 1 branched away from the FIA? Surely it's because they're a necessary evil in the continued existence of the sport, something they can't live without? Well, that may not be the case anymore. With Liberty Media now owning the Formula 1 rights, Ben Sulayem and the FIA's actions have been more and more at odds with the sport's goals as well as the outlook of the team principals, with them displaying an increased frustration with the governing body's continuous meddling with the sport. Most recently with the addition of more teams into the sport, as well as the sale of the sport's commercial rights. Just how much longer can this go on? Now that the FIA has made an enemy of the team principal of the sport's most successful team of recent times, as well as his wife, who also happens to be a high-up figure within Formula 1 in her own right, while perplexing and annoying every other team on the paddock in one way or another, surely it's time for the sport to consider their options. Things are due to change on track in a big way in the coming years, so why not off track as well? Allow a fresh outlook on the sport that can move with the times, rather than remain an outdated obelisk pinning the sport down and holding it back.